All right. Welcome to live recording number I. This one is going to be about music theory by genre. What's that mean? For whatever reason, I was thinking about trap, like mid-2000s trap, 808 Mafia, all that stuff. And it made me think about how theory is binned by genre. Certain genres have certain theories. I guess we'll use this sound. Alright, let's get the VM. This adjourned. Come on, come on. All right. Yeah, so, all right, we're going to look at this pretty simply. There's two types of theory. I guess there's three. There is modal, which is like not a lot of chord movement. That's what trap is, interestingly, because it does not seem that similar to funk and modal jazz, which I guess it owes its lineage to some extent. There is, what else is there? There is physical reality, spatial reality music, band music, and all of the ethos in that at large. And modal is like a crossover point, because modal really is the same between both. The principles are the exact same. And then there's produced music, electronic music, and the principles of that. Sorry, this cat is, let's just say what up. Yes, hello. You're a beast, aren't you? All right, so let's start with modal. What does modal mean? It means that, so here, we're going to make a 16-bar form. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 10, 2, 3, 4, 11, 2, 3, 4, 12, 2, 3, 4, 13, 2, 3, 4, 14, 15. I think I lost track, because that was the full loop. That's smooth. You know, I'm gonna jam out on that for a second, but that's not modal. Why is it not modal? Because there's multiple chords, but we're just establishing what a form is. That is a form. That's a section, a group of chords that go together and loop. Let's do it again. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're coming to the third loop. I don't know you. Last I don't know, I got mixed up, man. That's hella long. Like, I'm trying to make it simple, but like, this is where it gets strange. Band music has longer forms. Your A section, hook, whatever you want to call it, the form's going to be longer. And it's because playing a short loop in a band is kind of tough. Like, you have to count, all right, how many loops are we doing? Whereas on a computer, you don't have to worry about that. So, to make this more of a band loop, I mean, frankly, man, I just haven't been doing band stuff in so long. I'm not very good at it anymore. I could just play a jazz standard, but I want to keep this simple. My point is that is not modal. That is chord form. That happened to end up sounding like a band. And that's my point, is that it really bends itself into one of two places. It's either sounds like a band, might be a little longer, more traditional chords, or it sounds production. But modal does not. This is what modal is. Just one chord. So there you go. Modal just means it's on one chord the whole time. That's not exactly what it means, but that's basically what it means. And the important part about that is that, I mean, you can shift it slightly. I could occasionally have done, and a lot of Herbie Hancock's modal stuff is, it's got, you know, and it might even go up to like the 4. But my point is, it's not going to have a long diatonic turnaround like this. Because then it stops being modal. Modal is about being centered on just a few modes. So, okay, this is where we'll start. What genres are modal? Well, jazz, OG jazz, modal. Some of, you know, like Coltrane, some of his stuff. Herbie Hancock, a lot of funk is very modal, as in it's just got one chord. A lot of the meters stuff is very modal. And then continuing on, I'd say jazz keeps it there. But where it really changes is hip hop. Hip hop is modal. When hip hop starts, like boom bap is like very modal. It does not even have chord changes at all, really, just because of the way the beat machines worked back then. But then you get into the time, you know, post Dr. Dre. A lot of Dr. Dre's stuff had chord changes. That's why I think he's one of the most important artists ever, is because he, I feel, really shifted hip hop away from this not particularly grounded in music theory production aesthetic to very theoretically grounded, but totally formatted for production, for the beat machine. However, after that point, other styles would come to be that came back to the modal thing, but were informed by the computer in very interesting ways. And trap is one of those. And I wonder if there's a better sound. I'll do this one. Because here's like a trap-like melody. I ain't played any of this crap in a long time. All right, now here we go. Give me 1 second to get this to work. Sorry. Wait. I did that wrong. Whoops. It's this. I'm supposed to do this one like that. What happened with this? Oh, I see. It's down too far. It should start on G8. Sorry, A flat to G8. Let's turn up this 808 a little bit. You know, I love this patch. It's not trappy enough though. Whatever. It'll do. I always do a 2-5-1 just because that's like the only thing my dad really made me practice a lot. And because it works, but most trap producers would not do 2-5-1, so it would be your... I mean, this 808 is really not the right one for this. This is really failing. My bad. You get my point, though. The chords of your OG trap... What it means in this case that it's modal is it's not moving. It's staying there the whole time. Maybe you got a crazy key change or something, but you're not going to have chord changes. And that's why that's such a cool genre. And it's really kind of, I would say ever since XXX Tentacion, Juice WRLD, and like the sad, what do you call it, emo rap? Man, there's a name for that genre I can't think of. I love that style. And that's like, I resonate with that much more on a production level and a theory level than this. But that came out of this, you know what I mean? And those chords are like, nah, I do the jazz shit all the time. So one of those would be like, hold on. And I always get into this, like, Caribbean, West African stuff. That's where I hail from. But yeah, the modal stuff, a lot of people don't think about this, but like trap is like one of the most important genres for modern music evolution because it created the 808. Kanye innovated the use of the 808 as a, not a one shot, as a melodic instrument. And then with 808 Mafia and a lot of that early trap stuff, it caught on as a really powerful tool for just acoustically, but also emotionally, that it carries the weight of like 10 instruments. It takes up so much frequency range. It has so much power. It is the sound. You know, everyone knows 808s. 808s are probably the most successful instrument ever. And a purely synthetic one too, and I think that's fascinating. That's why I love it. But that came from trap. So even though we're not in that modal aesthetic anymore in terms of the theory, excuse me, it still did innovate a lot of important stuff out of that period. Another one is the rhythm. Trap bass rhythm is like, I'll do Kodiak, this will be better. I need a kick. Yeah, fuck it. Wait, let me see. I might just try to do this right. It's very rhythmic. It's not quarter note kick. It's not a bass line. It's not a bass instrument. It's a percussion instrument, technically. And that's why it's so cool, is because it's like timpani. 808 is closer to timpani than it is to bass. But you can play it like a bass if you just know how to hit it right. You can't do your walking bass lines on an 808, but you can do a lot of cool bass stuff on it. And I'm saying that all of that comes from trap. So that's why you need to understand how important trap is to understand where we're at now. And I mean, really the shift is what I said, where production, it went away from the modal thing and it became very, it got back to the chord structures of band music. But this is what I was talking about in one of the other ones, was about how production stuff with chords it's bend into motifs. That's a motif, chordally speaking. And what makes the difference? It's 4 measures long. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. It's actually just 2 measures long if you're doing a halftime. And I prefer halftime tempo with trap. If this was a band, it'd be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is just your pickup, your intro. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because bands are too loose to do those really short loops. It just doesn't work the same. Like, listen to Polyphia. Polyphia is this band that I think perfectly melded, just make sure my camera didn't die, perfectly melded trap hip-hop production music, both in terms of production and musicality theory, and band music. And the fundamental difference, and I know this because I didn't transcribe, but I figured out the form for a lot of their songs. Their forms are like as complex as a classical piece of music. They are so long. There are so many chords in the loop. It's actually the structure that I've based a lot of my modern stuff off of. Initially was a polyphia-esque form that combines production and band stuff. And my point is, if you compare the complexity of one of their forms to, I don't know, any piece of music that's produced, like made on a computer, the amount of chords total and the complexity of the form is going to be vastly different, and yet they will feel very similar. And that's because what's necessary to get a band to achieve that same character that the computer can is all of this what do you call it? Arrangement complexity, like compositional, just like formatting your chords and everything to be a certain way that it achieves that same thing. Whereas on a computer, you can just do the same little loop and it'll work. And that's my whole thing, is I'm just like working to be able to match the computer. And I think I'm doing okay at it. And that's how. It's this combination of theoretical frameworks that to be able to make it sound like a real band, to make it sound human, you have to humanize it. The way I do that is just through my play. It's through the way I play, the precision, my capability in playing. I arrange it pretty much the same way I would arrange a beat, with the exception of a lot of parts. There's a lot, like polyphia has very large parts. I have a large number of small motifs. That's how I've achieved the same kind of synthesis of production, aesthetic, and live spatial reality music aesthetic. But it's just it's a range. It's like a slider. If you want it to be human, then like listen to Bahamas. I forget what that song is called. It's like his biggest one. It's like a love song. Incredibly long form and very slow song. The chords move incredibly slow between the changes. It's like it takes like a minute to get through the whole progression. Whereas stuff you're hearing on a computer, some of those songs are a minute long. It's just a different thing, and it's recognizing that's your range. If you want to go computer, you're going to have to make your forms really punchy. You're going to have to do these little motif chord setups. If you want to make it organic, you're going to have to stretch it out, and it's going to get very difficult to make it organic on a computer. So the best way to do that is just through production. Play a guitar loop. That'll humanize it, or play some sounds that have a lot of character. Trying to do that in terms of theory and all this stuff in the way that polyphia does, or the way I try to do it, it's very hard. That's why I like it, and I'm not trying to discourage you from doing it. I just want to prepare you for how difficult it is, because it is a lot easier to just try to give it that character through the production, not the theory and the arranging and all that stuff. Or conversely, if you're trying to make your band sound more electronic, you can easily achieve that just by altering the form. Like try to figure out where it sounds reasonable for your setup to have these more motif chordal systems, and section your songs like that instead of using big traditional band songwriting forms. And that's it. It's really that simple. And it's just, in the middle is modal. And modal's a great way to just break from it. If you just do a one chord jam, that's a great way to just nullify everything, keep it simple. It works either way very well, and I think is one of the most interesting characters you can have, because it really takes away all the predictability and kind of cliche from chord changes, or very few chord changes, like If you don't know what that song is, it's one of the best songs ever. Just 2 chords for that main part. Does have another part, a build up. That's another important thing though. Use your plot devices. Use, man, that's a great song. Use your, damn, that song's insanely beautiful. You only need 2 chords, and it's not modal, and you can create an incredibly beautiful song with just 2 chords. So my advice, truthfully, is use as few chords as possible, so 2 or 3, you know, relatively for whatever your story is, but buffer that with build-ups. And I don't mean a build-up of just like vamping on one chord like EDM style. I mean a build-up of a walk-up, you know, like learn how to move around the scale diatonically, which I'm pretty sure means going scale degree by scale degree. So, and there's some other tricks in there, like you can do. There's a lot, I'll talk about that sometime, about what all those tension raisers are. But if you just do a really simple, not simple, but you know, just 2 chords, like, you feel how complicated it's getting? And that's all theory. You don't need production to give you that rising effect. So that's it. Class is dismissed, although I was not the best student. Spent the majority of my time not in class, but seeing as I turned out to be kind of smart, I guess that's okay. It's not really. Go to class, please. It's good. It's free. I hope, or you're probably not having to pay for it, at least if it's not college. If it is college, though, then it's not free, so why would you not go if it's not free? I don't know. It's up to you. These classes, though, they're not too long, so I hope you had a good time. I'll see you in the next one.